Hello everybody, my name is Sophia. Welcome back to Dreamy Storytellers. Today we will be reading The Three Little Monkeys by Quentin Blake and Emma Clark. I hope you enjoy it. Hilda Snibb came into the hall and closed the door. "I'm home," she called. "Where are you?" Now, some people have dogs and some people have cats. But Hilda Snibb had three little monkeys. Their names were Tim, Sam, and Lulu. Hilda fed them slices of carrot and apple and banana and worried about their health. They were very lively. One morning, Hilda took her shopping basket and went to buy some bananas. "Be good while I'm away," she said. Once she was gone, Tim and Sam and Lulu soon felt bored. So they crept into the hall closet to see what they could find to play with. They threw everything into the hall. They tried to open the umbrellas. They climbed into the rain boots. They pulled out the laces of all the shoes. And they even pulled out all of the feathers of Hilda's best hat. When Hilda came home, she found the most dreadful mess. There were feathers all over the place and her poor hat. "I'm really very disappointed in such naughty little monkey," she said. Tim and Sam and Lulu looked at her with their big round eyes and said nothing. The next day, Hilda went out to buy a new hat. "Make sure you are good while I'm away," she said. When she was gone, the three little monkeys soon began to feel bored. So they went into the living room to see what they could find to play with. They emptied the waste paper basket. They tore up the newspapers. They tipped over the flower vase. Then they found Hilda's knitting. And they clambered over the furniture with it until it was tied in knots. When Hilda came home and went into the living room, she found the most awful mess. There were flowers all over the place and her poor knitting. She clutched it to her and wailed, "What have I done to deserve these mischievous little monkeys?" Tim and Sam and Lulu looked at her with their big round eyes and said nothing. The next day, Hilda took her shopping basket and went out to buy some more wool. "And remember to be good while I'm away," she said. Once she was gone, the three little monkeys soon began to feel bored. So they went into the kitchen to see what they could find to play with. They pulled all the brushes out of the cupboard. They emptied all the cleaning powder on the floor. They got into the garbage and threw out all the potato peelings, and they tipped a saucepan of soup all over the kitchen floor. When Hilda came home, she found the most awful mess. There were brushes and potato peelings all over the floor. And her soup. Hilda banged the saucepan on top of the stove and shouted, "Great grief! How long can I put up with these terrible little monkeys?" Tim and Sam and Lulu looked at her with their big round eyes and said nothing. The next morning, Hilda took her basket and went out to buy a can of soup. "And be absolutely sure that you are good while I'm away," she said. Once she was gone, the three little monkeys soon began to feel bored. So they crept upstairs and into the bathroom to see what they could find to play with. They unrolled all the toilet paper. They squeezed out all the toothpaste. They nibbled the soap and didn't like it, and they poured Hilda's favorite shampoo into the sink. When Hilda came home, She went up to the bathroom to wash her hands. She found the most unbelievable mess. There was toilet paper and water and soap suds all over the floor. And her poor shampoo. Hilda screeched. She tore her hair and rolled her eyes. "Oh," she cried. "Oh, for a peaceful life without these wicked little monkeys." The next day, Hilda had to go to see her mother, who was in bed with a bad cold. "And don't forget, you must be very good while I'm away." It was late in the evening when Hilda came home. She looked all around the hall. Everything was neat and tidy. But where were the 3 little monkeys? She looked in the living room. There was her knitting on the chair, and the newspaper was in a neat pile. But Tim and Sam and Lulu were nowhere to be seen. Where could they be? Hilda said to herself. She went into the kitchen. Everything was clean and shining, and in its proper place. But there was no sign of the 3 little monkeys. "Oh dear," said Hilda. "This is very worrying. What could have happened to them?" She went upstairs to the bathroom. Everything was clean and shining and in its proper place. But there was no sign at all of the 3 little monkeys. "This is dreadful," said Hilda, and she gave way to despair. The tears rolled down her cheeks. She tried to dab them with her handkerchief, but there was still lots that dripped onto the floor. Soon her handkerchief was soaking wet. She went to the closet to get a dry one. And there were Tim and Sam and Lulu. They looked at her with their big round eyes and said nothing. "Oh my goodness," said Hilda. "You naughty little monkeys." That night, Hilda went up the stairs to bed with a happy heart. And as she slid between the sheets, she discovered all the spoons and forks from the kitchen and 3 cans of sardines in tomato sauce. But that is the sort of thing you have to expect if you have 3 little monkeys. Bye-bye.